Hello, hello, good morning. Welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I have two 40% alcohol silver rums. I'm about to say blended, but they probably are blends of different ages. All right, here's Castillo, Castillo rum, silver Puerto Rican rum from Rondi Castillo in Catania, Puerto Rico. Well, you know what big distilleries in Catania I found out? Bacardi. I don't know. Now, this was started in 1914, so I don't know if this is something that was an independent company that had their own distillery and Bacardi came in and bought it from them, or if it was always a Bacardi rum that they just opened it. Because I know they had operations in Puerto Rico before the communist revolution in Cuba, and it could have just been something they were, making there all along. But I could check. Maybe I could find out. But I do know it was first used, and the truck was first used in 1914. And I only paid $8.99 for this liter bottle. That was many years ago because it's saying a 2018 bottle. So it's been lasting me. But, it's still not expensive. I could find Castillo pretty cheap, I do believe. And it doesn't have the word Bacardi anywhere on here. So they're trying to make it, they're trying to distance them. It has a map of the Caribbean islands on there. They're sort of distancing themselves from it in a way. Obviously, they're not putting a name on it, but it is on their website, and I'll show you in a minute. Here's Gran Legacy Silver Caribbean style rum with natural flavors. Yeah, Caribbean style, meaning it's not from the Caribbean. I don't know what Caribbean style rum means anyway. But it says it's bottled in Kentucky. I know there's a rum distillery in Kentucky called Glenmore, so it's probably produced there, but I don't know that. I know it's bottled in Kentucky. That much I know by Legacy Distilling, and it's made for Casey's General Store, a mid-continent, like a mid-U.S., middle USA, central USA convenience store chain, gas station, convenience store, and some of their locations sell liquor depending on the state. Not in Arkansas because they don't allow liquor sales from a convenience store. Missouri, I think, does, but I'm not sure about that. But I think they do. Tennessee doesn't. Mississippi sure does not. But anyway, I know there's some. They wouldn't even they wouldn't have bothered taking over the trademark. It used to be a CVS pharmacy brand from 2006 until about 2 or 3 years ago. About 2 years ago. CVS lost interest in it, and I started seeing Grand Legacy Canadian blended whiskey and others showing up at independent liquor stores. And I was like, what's going on with this? Because I know it's private label, but that's what happened. CVS just let it go. They were just like, whoever wants it, they can have it. We're just walking away from it. And it could have just stayed like that in stasis, just in suspension. But here comes Casey. They took over, filled out whatever paperwork, paid whatever fees they had to take over the trademark last year, 2024, and now they've got it. And that's the story. I'll show you the Bacardi website because there's no website listing for this Grand Legacy, I'll have to tell you. Our family of brands, Bacardi Limited. And Bacardi Limited, their headquarters, their big production facility is in Puerto Rico, but their actual office headquarters, their main headquarters in Hamilton, Bermuda, in the island country of Bermuda out in the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know why they chose to move there, but probably is some tax reason, low taxes or something, low regulation. Banks. I've never seen Banks rum, but I'm sure it's around. Castillo rum. They're showing it. Silver, gold, añejo, and spiced. I have seen the spice, wasn't interested in it. I have the gold and silver liter bottles in my possession. And I've never seen the añejo, the aged, but probably could find it. Facundo, no, not Pirat. I see Pirat all the time. Pirate. But Pirat, yeah, I see that all the time. Single cane state rums, don't. think I'm familiar with that. Santa Teresa. Yes, I've seen Santa Teresa, Saint Teresa, Santa Teresa. I have seen it around. Know who made it. And I got so much rum right now in this house. I don't think I need to be buying any. Then there's something that's Canada, Breezers, a rum soda pop, basically. Oh boy. All right. Yep, Grey Goose is owned by. There it is. But anyway, Mr. Amazing says, "Good morning, Ron. Hope you're doing well. Glad to catch you live before the gym." Oh, thank you, Mr. Amazing. Have a good time at the gym. I'm going to mass at 8. Jason Wickham says, "Good morning, Jay. Good morning to you. It's the Feast of Pentecost. The Easter has ended. Now Easter season is over, and we're going to enter ordinary time coming up." Okay. I can try to check these trademarks here. Let me see, Castillo. A lot of times it'll list who owned it over the years, but it doesn't always. It's too much. It'll be too many companies. It'd be like 14th company. Castillo, there it is. Rum, Bacardi and Company. It's got the castle. This website's going really slow. It wouldn't even work this morning earlier. 1914, sorry. First time they used this trademark anywhere was 1914. Here's another listing for it, Castillo. 1914. Well, 1933, because they didn't sell liquor in the United States, right? Legally until 33, so they would have started using it really. Bacardi Company, the third original registrant. The original registrant. I was looking at a different code. Okay, so they're saying that Bacardi was the original people to register it. That was in 1933, you see. So I'm thinking maybe, yeah. Looks like it was an independent, and then after Prohibition, they came in and took it over. Puerto Rico had legalized, I think it was still legal there during Prohibition. But anyway, what difference does it make? It's owned by Bacardi today, and it's not listed as a rum of Puerto Rico. This is not part of that trade association. So that means it does not have to be aged at least 1 year, and it probably is not aged at least 1 year. There's a recipe on the back, though, for a cocktail, because all Bacardi rums have a recipe on the back label. I paid $10.99 for the Gran Legacy, true story. And it smells like typical rum, like fermented sugarcane, then distilled. Let's see what Total Wine has it for. They usually, not always, have the lowest price. Sometimes Walmart does beat them. Normally not, but sometimes they do. Let's see. Castillo rum. Most everybody sells it. Gold and silver, but they only have handles of it. Handles. $14.99 for a handle. See what I mean? It's cheap. And that's the regular price, not a sales price. And I got the Grand Legacy on a discount, so it's not too much lower than the Castillo. So are these budget brands? Yeah, pretty obviously they are. Jay, I know you're not a light beer guy, says Jason. Did you ever try Ham Special Light? I had some years ago and they were pretty refreshing. No, I had seen it around Chicago, like in East Hazel Crest, in those suburbs south of Chicago. But they only sold cases of it, 24-pack cases, suitcases. And I was like, I don't want to buy a whole suitcase of it. I'm sure it's fine. Heileman's, Ham Special Light. they did have Holloman's Old Style Light too. And I was like, nah, if I find a single, like a 24-ounce can, I'll get it. But I never did see it. So I never bought it. I would buy it. But like I'd rather get a, like I say, I'd rather get a single of it or just a 6-pack. Can't find it anymore. If you look up like on a search though, you'll see that, or at least last time I checked, they did have stores selling it. It's kind of like Blatt's Light. Theoretically, people will tell you, oh, Blatt's is gone. Well, how come they got liquor stores selling Blatt's Light? But they're selling a product that doesn't exist, and it'll say available today on the store websites. I'm like, I know they have it. It's like Pabst Light, the new Pabst Light. Pabst Light is back, but when was it ever really gone? They used to make Pabst Special Light years ago. I used to see it in the store. I wasn't interested in it. I think I bought it once. It was fine. Then that kind of disappeared, and then they had Pabst Easy 3.8. And that was around. The distribution was pitiful. You could barely find it. And now they got Pabst Light, just Pabst Light, not Pabst Blue Ribbon Special Light. Were they that different one from another? My thinking is they really weren't. They seem about the same, but Pabst had a lot of ownership changes over the years and kind of like internal disruption from what I could tell. And I guess the current owners like, man, we got to get it together. Light beer is so popular. All the craft beer companies making light beer now. And they might have thought Pabst Easy confused people. Like, what does that mean, easy? Like the name was odd. So I think that's phased out. And that's the light. I think the light's going to sell. I think it's going to be a good seller, but I don't know that. I think that. Not much aroma over here. So here, aroma. Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's go with I think this is the Castillo, but let's go with the taste. Some people will claim, with no evidence whatsoever, that Castillo is the same as Bacardi Superior, just in a different bottle, but I don't believe it because it doesn't have that rum of Puerto Rico designation on it. Doesn't taste like Bacardi Superior. I don't mean it tastes worse. It doesn't really. It just doesn't taste the same. But it's not. To me, it's not that much different. And no, I would not pay more for Bacardi Superior than Castillo Silver, honestly. But some people would, I guess. Yeah, sugarcane stalks, sweetness. Yeah, the grass from the sugarcane stalks. It tastes like typical rum. If you want to call it run-of-the-mill rum, everyday rum, generalized rum, standard rum, that's what it is. It's basic. It is not bad. Basic does not mean bad. It just means standard. It's just basic. It's just a standard generic flavor, a prototypical flavor, really. This would be a good thing to give somebody if they say, well, I never tasted clear rum. Like, what does it taste like? Give them this because it's so common in the flavor. I'll give them a good idea what rum tastes like. Don't give them some exotic product that nothing else tastes like it because that's not echo it. Or you could give them Bacardi Superior. That'd be the best example, right? Okay. A little vanilla pickup here. Just a little bit. It probably has more than a little bit flavoring, though. That's why it's called Grand Legacy Silver Rum, Caribbean style rum and natural flavors. That's probably why it's called Grand Legacy Silver instead of Grand Legacy Rum, because it's probably exceeding the 2.5% allowed for flavoring. So they don't call it Grand Legacy Rum. They call it Grand Legacy Silver, Caribbean style rum and natural flavors. I know it's a game, but they do have to follow the game rules. Can't add flavor into bourbon. But I can go right to Walmart and buy a bourbon with natural flavors. It's called 10 High, and that's the name of it, 10 High. It's not called 10 High Bourbon. It's called 10 High. That's the name, 10 High. Bourbon with natural flavors and caramel color. So if I go to Texas, they got Royal. That's the name of it, Royal. What is Royal? A bourbon with natural flavors and caramel color. So you can't do it, but you can do it. It's all how you label it. That's the key. Speaking of beers, Jay, can you still find Falstaff? No, indeed. I contacted the company, and in 2005, they told me they discontinued it in 2005. Pabst said they did discontinue it. My dad drank that when I was a kid, so I've never had it. I can't remember finding it in the early 80s when I was finally old enough to have one. I did find a 6-pack of Falstaff beer at Schwegman's, an out-of-business store chain in Metairie, Louisiana in 1996. It was a 6-pack of Falstaff. It was $1.99, so I bought it. I kept one can because I knew, I don't know, I just had a feeling something wasn't going to make it on this. And 9 years after I bought the can, they discontinued it. And I asked the girl at the checkout, I said, the cashier, I said, does anybody ever buy this stuff? She said, yeah, sometimes some old men come in and buy it. That's what she says. They got some old guys that come in and buy it. And I thought, yeah, that's what I figured. And that's why it's gone. Okay, but I'm glad I kept the can. It's proof. Pabst is strange. Okay. So I'm saying, but maybe they're getting their act together finally. I'm saying this is the Castillo. It is. So does Castillo taste like Grand Legacy? Not really. I mean, they're similar. They're rum and all, but it has more flavor, a little bit more flavor. So is it worth the extra $3? Yeah, I would say so. Maybe it's extra $2 on the regular price. Yeah, it's worth it, but why not buy both? Try them both. They're so inexpensive, not like it's going to break the bank. So the winner, though, however, is Castillo. And tomorrow, I'm planning at least, I'm going to try to do a taste challenge tomorrow, the final rum, unless I overlook something. I don't think I did. The final rum taste challenge of the series, Bacardi Superior versus Grand Legacy. And you know Grand Legacy is not going to win. Doesn't stand a chance. So if you skip the video, I wouldn't take offense to it, but I'm going to still do the challenge. You know, that's the schedule. It's like a college football team. That's your schedule. And you know you're going to get beat when you play Michigan State, but you still play them. Okay. Well, y'all take care now. Bye-bye.